Welcome, semi-ethical community. For our first-time visitors, welcome. And for our returning community of historians, activists, grassroots guardians, welcome back. We are in chapter 4 of Flow and Ripple. We are down to the last hours until season 2 concludes. So what was the conclusion of the matter? Flow and Ripple. Well, in this last lesson, titled The Pleasant Boundary Lines Were Beyond the Flood. And we are studying from the text of Joshua chapter 18, verse 4, 5, and 10. Psalm chapter 16, verse 3 through 8. And then Psalm chapter 78, verse 13, 16, and 20. So here we are. The boundary lines have fallen to us in pleasant places on the other side of the flood. So let's explore how the flood and the distress that refers to actually got the faithful into the promised land. So let's let the scriptures speak for themselves, starting with Joshua chapter 18, 4 through 5. Whew. Give out from among them 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them, and they shall rise and go through the land and describe it according to the inheritance of them. And they shall come again to me. And they shall divide it into 7 parts. Judah shall abide in their coasts on the south, and the house of Joseph shall abide in their coasts to the north. And verse 10, and Joshua cast lots of the children for them in Shiloh before the Lord. There Joshua divided the land unto the children of Israel according to their divisions. Psalm chapter 16, verse 3 through 8. But to the saints that are in the earth, to the excellent ones in whom is all my delight. Now the sorrows shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. Their drink offerings of blood I will not offer, nor take up their names into my lips. The Lord is my portion, my inheritance of my cup, who maintaineth my lot. Thou maintainest my lot. The lines have fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. Goodly heritage. And for the sake of time, Psalm chapter 78, verse 13, 16, and 20. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand in a heap. He brought the streams also out of the rock, and he caused the waters to run down like a river. Behold, he smote the rock, and the waters gushed out. Well, Sema community, our scriptures have spoken regarding the flow and ripple water force. And now it's time to look at a few major nuggets of these scriptures. Okay. Number 1, there was an integrity test in order to properly harness and benefit from flow and ripple. Number 1 means that Joshua and the leadership had to make sure the boundary lines actually reached the people. There were no haves or have-nots. Those who actually made it out of the wilderness benefited from the boundary lines, the promised lines. The blessing went to each and every one. And it was done in an accountable, transparent, and a fair fashion. Number 2, the flow and ripple of the water, the force of water, both carries us into and maintains us within the blessing. So even after the people had entered into the promised land, we still have to, and it's required to, use the force of water in a righteous way, in a reputable and ethical way. So it carries us into and maintains us in the promised land. And number 3 is, what form is the blessing going to take place? it's not going to be in one form. It's not just going to be the rain. It's not just going to be the river. It's not going to be just steam. Like, what form is it going to take place in? And that's where we have to be discerning and sensitized. We have to be sensitized to what the God of the covenant is doing. So, a very quick nugget. How is the integrity test important? Well, in Joshua chapter 18 and verse 10, Joshua went before the Lord and divided the land and cast lots according to the divisions. The divisions were not arbitrary, they weren't favoritism, they weren't skewed by some type of whim. It was something that had to be accountable and plausible by God. We can learn a lot from that in our current day and age. Maybe that's why there's such a huge widening between the rich and the poor. Because everyone who made it into the promised land had the boundary lines fall to them. Point number 2 is it keeps us within the blessing. King David mentioned in Psalm chapter 18 that he would not take up their libations of blood of those who hastened after other gods. This indicates that in multiple generations after, those people who had chased idolatry were jeopardizing or had lost their blessing. But we know from the renowned integrity and faith of King David, these were tests that he had to pass just as much as Joshua, his patriarch beforehand. And lastly, what form is the water going to come in? You know, the water came from the rock. The water was split when the Red Sea split. The water was split when the River Jordan was split. Each one of us has to be sensitized to the new forms the water deliverance is coming in. So if you found this helpful and edifying, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And may you be blessed with positive flow and ripple.